to show you this thing, which is something that I call the light interface, and it's a super kind of, it's really actually quite a basic thing, which is 16 light-dependent resistors which just sense light levels across the interface. And then I think this one has got a teensy inside it, which very easily converts the light levels into MIDI, and then it just goes super fast MIDI into the max patch. And it's kind of, it came for me at a point where I'd spent many years making studio records, and my energy for that had completely run out. And I'd also been playing with a jazz band for 5 or 6 years, and I thought, it would be nice to enter a period of improvisation. So I started to try and find interfaces, or make interfaces that would allow me to have very sort of, I guess, gestural control, but also address the problem of laptop performances, which for me, I find I don't want to kind of be stuck behind a laptop so much. And when I think when me and probably Richard, wherever he's from, when we started playing, which was in, I don't know, when did you get a laptop, Richard? 2000?
Oh, I had the first 33 megahertz Toshiba laptop. How far back does that go? We were that thick.
Yeah.
Like a brick. And then I got the Wall Street Mac. Remember the Wall Street Black?
No, I think
G3?
you got one way before I did.
Yeah, I'm pretty old, but yeah.
For me, it was about 2000 and something, and all the performances without fail that I went to was some person sitting behind a laptop making kind of sounds that I couldn't understand the cause and effect of, and I went through a lot of trial and error to find a good way of playing, including a kind of electric bra situation, which was a little bit weird and caused some interesting questions to come up. But I'm just going to probably show you how the thing works, so I can calibrate it to the light level quite pretty easily. It was interesting seeing your calibration yesterday, because it's it's interesting how much you try and, as a performer, you try and control your environment. And I chose light, which is quite tricky to control, and people are quite used to controlling sound in a venue. People are very unused to controlling light. And as much as you stress that the light needs to stay at a constant level, someone will always do this. And then if the sound's on, which it seems not to be, that it will always do this. Sorry, can't resist a bit of a play. I think I might just play it a bit and then I'll show you. Oh, what is that? What was that?
Are you sure you want to do that?
No. I don't even know what that does. I've never even seen that before. So, just going to tell you what we're hearing. So,
Sexy signs.
sexy science, don't worry, that is going to come at some point. We've already had a request for sexy science.
Sexy signs is at the beginning or at the end?
Sexy science is like a way of life. It's a philosophy.
Are you more into sexy or science?
You can't split the two really. It's without the sexy, the sign's not the same, and without the sign, the sexy is just.
I love that.
It's always a question of back and forth.
It's back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm not going there. No, let's not going there.
What I like is using lights as groove machine.
As
groove machine.
groove machine.
Yeah, straight away it was direct interface. I love it a bit.
It's what I like to do is invite in collaboration from error, if that's a thing. So quite often there's a point in the show that I do where it stops and people get their phones out and have a maybe like play with it, because it's kind of it's fun. I think it's good for me not to control my environment too much, because the thing itself addresses live performance to the extent that if something happens unplanned, it kind of really emphasizes the aliveness of it. But it also allows really kind of quick, it allows you to really try things out really quickly, which is really nice. Like that's an idea that I tried out, wasn't very good. So let's move on. Is there any questions at this point? Yeah.
Like what's how do you map from the points, the 16 points to what we hear?
Right. That's a good question. So there are a number of patches. So basically this is the decoder patch, which basically I'm going to shine on the top left, and then it gives a kind of sense of how bright how intense that light is. It will try and work out a kind of distance between the two brightest points, which is that like square box. It will also, the yellow circle is a really bad guess of how high the light is, which doesn't always work. And it's not working in that. Kind of works sometimes, but it's you know, and it sends out angular data between like the center point and the two brightest points. Honestly, I don't use half of it. I just use like brightness in some instances. So the most simple patch is you put an oscillator under every light sensor, so you get and it's really sort of super simple. You can play a tune on it if you're crazy, or you can kind of play it in a think it having a very simple sound source encourages your playing to be more inventive, I think. And I think what I like about this particular patch is that the kind of your link between the action and the sound is really strong. Pierre, I forgot to start a timer.
I've got a timer.
How long have I had?
You've got another 16 minutes.
Right. So
After the question, since you opened the question. You were talking about simplicity.
Yeah.
I heard you put a little effect behind. Did you start a looper, or what was the octavation that you've added?
So there's like a couple of effects. There's like, that is a real-time buffer which then pitches these grains, but it's very dirty.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's just kind of, I wanted just to see what that would sound like to add that. There's another patch that kind of has a similar vibe to it, which is, instead of taking oscillators, takes a field recording. And this is someone playing a really weird sounding organ in Mexico City. No, it's not. It sounds like a harmonium to me. Yeah. Oh yeah, so what just happened is that the light from the screen, and if I stand there, it'll stop. Yeah. So yeah, you can, I've not really got this one in a place that I like it yet, but you can kind of, each one is a sample, and as the light's on, the sample plays. And then it's not free running, it only runs when the light's on. So every time the light goes off, it pauses. Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't restart.
It can do, but not. I just switched that off. So you can hear it's going through. But if I do that, it should stay there. Should straight back to that dugga dugga dugga. It's quite interesting if you put a different sound in it. Can I turn it up a bit for everyone? Yeah. Might sound interesting with sine waves behind it.
Oops.
I don't know what happened there. That's not in the script. Is someone, any questions while I sort this out?
So for are you sending over a 7-bit, like 0 to 127 MIDI from the TC?
Yeah, it's super like low resolution.
Yeah. You're not sending like 10-bit MIDI that you've split out and then joined again or anything like that.
No, it's low resolution, but
And then you're doing smoothing in MSP for the envelopes.
Are they packed in a secret number?
it's smoothed where necessary.
Right.
Yeah, but if I can get away without smoothing it,
Yeah.
I just want it to like be immediate.
Immediate, yeah.
So you get 256 values of light, of brightness for each 60 of the 16.
127.
7.
Oh, MIDI.
Yeah, something MIDI, yeah.
127.
But at the sensor, it's much higher resolution than that. But honestly, it works fine. So.
I'm interested in the path, the audio path, because you've got your really clear interface of generating material through the gesture.
Yeah.
And then you said, I've added that little effect behind. So I'm interested to see what you have as the second layer, like the polishing layer or the effect layer or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
How you approach that kind of gestural generation versus the post-prod or whatever.
Yeah, all right. Well, I can show you if it's working. I can show you. I'll show you the effects that I've got.
Okay.
To be honest, I find that the effects can sometimes take away from the directness of the performance.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually use them when playing with other musicians. So there are times where I don't want to be like making this racket that's really out front of everything. I want to just make a bed of stuff that people can play on top of.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of what I use it for. So I'll just use a simple sound. So this is the thing you were talking about, which has got different. It's got kind of got a sort of macro knob that changes various settings. But it's actually very dirty and low CPU. It's super clicky in certain situations. There's this. Which is a kind of spectral accumulation. Which is oh yeah, and that's got pitching on it as well. And then there is, I think I tried to make a reverb and it's hilarious, but it's kind of got this interesting quality about it.
It's very transparent.
Yeah, it's
Definitely time varying.
Yeah.
That's what we can be sure of.
I made it. It's like, do you want to see it? It's really funny.
Because it sounds like you changed the early reflections.
No, it's just it's feedback and delays.
That I don't think early reflections are a factor in if anyone sees anything that says reverb,
You can
Yeah,
search for the
there's a higher up, XX reverb.
yeah.
Ah, thanks.
So this is an original. I don't think this model exists anywhere.
I like that filter going.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so it goes, it comes in here, it is, where's that, what is causing that? Oh, I've lost, there we go. I can't actually seem to navigate around this.
That's good.
There we go. So we've got a filter, we've got, can anyone see any delay at it?
Yes, the top right is random all passes.
The old pass.
Yeah, so this was me trying to work out what the all pass does. But I just liked the absolute kind of wobbly weirdness of it. It doesn't get used very often, but it's kind of useful for just. It's almost like a looper that's not nauseating in a way that sometimes it can be a bit nasty. So it's possible to use more complex mappings for the lights, and so that sexy signs is kind of I guess a more advanced patch, and I'll just show you a bit of what sexy signs is all about.
Can we use the regular signs?
We can lose them.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Or
Yeah.
It's like having a bit like a fairy godmother having you there. Turn the other one off, John. Useful stuff. So, right. So, this is kind of arranged in a different way. So there are 4 notes along the top edge. And you can randomly generate new notes, and then it slowly kind of like slides into those notes. And you can modulate the notes. And then there's a kind of basic, I tried to build a patch that listened for rhythm and recognized the rhythmic playing, which is why there were some weird drum things leaking through. But if it generates rhythm, it tries to improvise with you. Plus, it's quite good fun to give it a weird rhythm. Sexy it actually is, but
it is quite sexy. It's very sexy. It's very sexy. Impressive.
Yeah.
You got 1 minute for pressing remarks.
Any pressing remarks? Any questions? Oh, we can chat later, or you can have a play with it if you want. But yeah.
I like very much the way it's very direct. Your agenda was very clear. You wanted to have something when you said that people were looking at laptops and you didn't understand what they do,
Yeah.
we have a feeling that, but Hans was saying yesterday,
It's about
just-
possibility.
Exactly, we see, and suddenly I want to play with it.
Yeah.
Yet there's some magic happening at the same time. It's not completely boringly transparent. There's a link, but there's also mystery. I think you've reached a great balance there.
I think, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's many patches that have been thrown away because they were like really kind of clever, but then the connection between the whole magic is what?
Yeah.
And it actually sounds okay. What? And it does. I mean, it brings it. Yeah, if that connection is there, then it doesn't work. And it would have been interesting to show you stuff that doesn't work as well, because it's kind of like it's very dissonant in cognitively speaking. Yeah.
One technical question: do you have an Arduino running in there, or how do you translate from the light sensors to MIDI?
So it's like an Arduino. I program it using the Arduino user IDE, but it's called a Teensy.
Oh yeah.
Tinsel processor,
Yeah, and it's just like it's a super powerful thing, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you can I could program some audio on that, and it would be computerless. Yeah.
Although the limits, it's powerful for a microcontroller, but it stays, the kind of stuff you're doing there, it's a bit choking.
No reverb.
Yeah.
There are other options there for that.
Yeah. I mean,
Mono.
it's not at all bad for creating a load of sine waves. So if I fed that into a reverb, it would kind of similar. But I thought when I was looking at your navigation of sound files, I thought that would be an interesting way to navigate sound files.
Yeah.
But did it with like interpolation, like figuring your center point.
Yeah.
So using it's just like an array of.
I think I'm going to build a like poor man's version of your patch.
What if you would increase the density of sensors on that thing? Kind of instead of having 16, having 128 or something.
Yeah, then it becomes like a pain in the ass to make it, because that is like a couple of days annoying soldering. But you don't need to have more resolution, because you've got. I will stop shortly.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But if you look at the blue zone,
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
like it kind of knows where it is. As soon as you use two lights, though, it's completely like.
Fighting.
I don't know what's going on anymore, but I like that. I like that kind of.
Yeah.
The computer is trying and failing to do what you've asked it, but failing in a really charming way that you can work with.